Don't let that throw you for a loop because there's y's, letters at the end as opposed to a normal trinomial. Just know this. It's a trinomial, you're going to break into binomials. X's are going to go first. What do you suppose is going to be in that last term? The only way to get a y squared is to have y's there. And that's why you get xy middle terms, because xy there, xy there. What times what gives you 20 when added together gives you 9? Huh? Plus 5 plus 4. Now that, forging ahead. Take a look at page lesson 73. This is review, that's why I'm not spending forever on it. We got compound inequalities. And if you remember back in the day, we have the and inequalities and the or inequalities. Again, this is in your notes. You really don't have to write that out. And inequalities look like this. -3. Okay, that's basically just putting two inequalities together. X is greater than -3 and x is less than or equal to 4. Incredibly easy to graph because here at -3 it's an open circle because there's no equal sign there. Therefore it's a closed circle and you just color in the middles if you remember the and ones. The or ones, and by the way in the and ones, this is the only way that these signs will only go that way. They don't work the other way. Because x can't be greater than -3 and greater than 4 because there's no way. And means they both have to be true. Or means they go in opposite directions. X is less than 2 or x is greater than 5. What happens with that? Well, here at 2 it's an open circle. X is less than 2. Or means the other could be true. X is greater than 5. Ors go in opposite directions. Ands come together. Review, yes? Yes, Mr. Hahn, wait for you. Now, for the new stuff, fun and exciting, take out a blank piece of paper. This will amaze and astonish your friends. Absolute value equations. Solving them, children. Let's start with the basic, very simple absolute value equation. I don't think we've done this, have we? Yeah. You should be able to tell me what the answer to that is. The absolute value of what number is 3? There's actually two answers. And they would be, Brian, one of them is 3, the other one is -3. And it's always good probably to make that as a set or whatever it is. Now that's all well and good, but what about an equation that looks like this? 5 times the absolute value of x equals 25. It gets a little more complicated. And to do it, you just have to follow these really easy steps. But you need to write it down because you'll forget. Question. Oh, wait, you're not here. All right. Step number 1, children, is this. Step number 1, you must isolate the absolute value sign. In other words, you want the absolute value and whatever's in it all by itself on one side of the equation. Okay, so I've got to get rid of this 5, which is pretty easy to do because how do I get rid of a multiplication 5? I divide by 5. I'll do it over here so you can see it. So I divide by 5, I divide by 5. So the absolute value of x equals 5. Now, here is where you need, you know what the answer is right now, but it's not always gonna be this easy, so write this down. Step number 2, once you isolate that absolute value thing, you need to write 2 equations from that. One of them equals a positive right side, and one a negative. And it won't make a lot of sense till we do a harder one, but you'll see what I mean. This one's easy because the x is already by itself. What that means is this: once you get the absolute value isolated, you need to split this and make it 2 equations. One, take away the absolute value sign. One, where x equals the positive of this, and one where x equals the negative of that. And those are your 2 answers. This one already happens to be solved, it's an easy one, but we'll get to a harder one and you'll see. One where it's positive, one where it's negative. Ready? Get set? Go. Here's a tough one. 4 times the absolute value of x minus 2 equals 80. Step number 1 was to isolate. So, in other words, you don't worry about this stuff that's inside the absolute value till the end. The first thing you want to do is get this by itself, so you divide by 4. Divide by 4. So now the absolute value of x minus 2 equals 20. Stop me there if you didn't catch that. You did catch that. Step numero dos. From this, once you get this by itself, you need to write 2 equations. One where this is positive, one where this is negative. X minus 2 equals a positive 20, and the other one is x minus 2 equals a negative 20. And then you need to solve those. Split, and 3, solve. So here you add 2 to get rid of the 2. For one value, x equals 22. For the other value, you add 2, x equals negative 18. And those are the 2 answers there. If you want to see it in action, let's put negative 18 into this. If you take negative 18 and minus 2 from it, you get negative 20. Absolute value of negative 20 is positive 20. 20 times 4 is 80. Once it works. Or it's like it works. Let's find the hardest one humanly possible. I really don't see a hard one. How about this one? X minus 5 plus 3 equals 3. The absolute value of x minus 5, x minus 5 plus 3, I say minus 3. Yeah, plus 3. Wait, that's not what it is. I don't like letter E. No, yes I do. No, I don't. Yes I do. Yeah, I do, sure I do. Plus 3 equals 3. Again, the first thing I'm going to do is what, Sammy Spaniel? I'm going to? I love that word. You sound so mathematical. And how do you isolate it? You're going to do what? Yeah, you need to get rid of this. Subtract 3, you get 0. Now don't think that your answer is 0 because that is not the case. Step number 2, you need to write 2 equations. One of them with a positive 0, one with a minus 0, which actually doesn't happen because there is no such thing as a minus or a plus 0. So in this case, you actually only get 1 equation. And then you just add 5, add 5. X has to be 5. No 2 answers because in that case 0 is both the same positive as negative. Lexi, you wanna do one more? I'll let you do this one. 5z minus 3, 20. 5 absolute value of z minus 3 equals 20. You find an answer for me. You could beat the set 80 before you know it. We've almost caught up to 7th grade. And the answers we get out there are, right in the back row. Ryan Schwartz says 7 and negative 1. I don't know, let's see. Divide by 5, divide by 5. Z minus 3 absolute value of equals 4. 2 equations from that. Z minus 3 equals positive 4. Z minus 3 equals negative 4. Add 3 is equals 7. Add 3 is equals negative 1. By the way, what would the graph of this look like? The absolute value graph is a V, although this isn't because it's not a, well, yeah, it's whatever Z is there. This 5 would make it a really wide or really narrow, I'm not sure which, but this 3 would mean it goes 3 which way? Look at Ryan. Yeah, coming on strong in the end.
Yeah, Ryan.
I have